So map versus forEach. In mine, I got a method function convert to capitals. Yeah, where essentially I got a list of fruits. Okay, same example: apple, orange, banana. Yeah, and then I return something. We'll see what in a minute. So the idea is, whenever I call convert to capitals, let me see if it works first of all. Hello, stupid example as usual. I got hello at the bottom. Great, it works fine. So now the point is, I have a list of fruits and I want to return the same list of fruits written in capitals. Apple, orange, and banana. Yeah? Something as simple as that. In other words, I want to iterate over each element of the array and I want to transform them individually. First of all, let's have a look to forEach. With forEach, we can do something like that. Fruits dot forEach, and the signature is the same as final filter. If you remember, fruit, or not the same, but it's very similar. And then we do something here. Yeah? So fruits dot forEach means it will iterate through each individual fruit. So yeah, I can do a few things here. I can, for instance, do fruits, or there are different ways we can deal with the problem. So first of all, what if I want to change the original array? Yeah. So you know, when using find, filter, map, forEach, all the methods, the first argument is always the individual element. Apple, then orange, then banana. But we can pass a second argument with the index starting at 0. So when talking about the apple, index will be 0. When talking about the orange, index will be 1. And when talking about banana, index will be 2. Why am I doing that? Because now, can anybody tell me how to change how can I change the first element of the array?
You mean like taking them out, or like when you
I want to transform apple into apple written in capitals.
all fruit, and then the square bracket 0 dot to uppercase and the parentheses.
That's it? That doesn't really make sense. I think you got the idea, you are going on the right direction. However, that doesn't make sense. The reason is, what do we do with that? So,
Oh, you have to return. No,
Okay.
but it's wait. No, that's not it.
yeah, that's a bit more it's a bit more complicated than that. It's a bit more complicated than that. Ebrima, I have a problem. I struggle a lot to follow you.
Okay, so if you have to put if statement.
If statement, okay. If statement, here you go.
So then
Brackets,
brackets to parentheses.
second, parenthesis, yeah.
So fruit, then brackets. Not brackets, no.
Square brackets, right?
Index.
How many? 7? Apple,
With the speech, with the rotation.
Okay. Okay. Still, that doesn't make sense. So there are many things that are not working as expected here. First of all, what is fruit on the first iteration? Correct. So on the first iteration, fruit equals apple. So then you're doing fruit of square bracket 0. What is fruit of a square bracket 0? What?
Okay, I understand this.
No, but okay, fine, but maybe not everybody understands that. So what's the value of fruit 0? Second?
Apple.
Wrong. Fruit is apple.
Yeah. Fruit.
Wrong. No, guys, don't change the question. A. Thank you, Adam. Yeah? So you're doing here. If A equal apple, which isn't true, fruit to uppercase. Right, guys, I can see you are very far away from being able to solve the problem. So let me start again. Yeah. So I'll show you how to essentially return a new array. I simply want to get that message, guys, at the bottom. Yeah. Without hard coding it. So obviously, if I change the fruits, I will get new fruits. Yeah. That's all I wanted to do. So to keep it even simpler, look, I'm going to create a new variable. Let me call it capital fruits, which is an empty array. And now, with forEach, I'll show you later on why you were going on the wrong direction. Can anybody tell me how to add a new element to an array? Push, fantastic. Push. Can anybody now complete the problem? Push what? I want to push each fruit converted to capitals. Correct. And now, eventually, I can return capital fruits. Yeah. So you see, I created a new array, empty array. So then for each iteration, for each fruit, I will fill the basket. So first of all, let's see if it works. Here you go. That's exactly what I wanted. So if we add a few breakpoints, as you may expect already, so can anybody tell me what's the execution order? So Daniel, 8, 5, and 6 3 times. So Daniel and Ebrima. More thoughts, guys? Adam?
I'm going to say 5, 6, 6, 6, 8.
5, 6, 6. How many sixes?
3 sixes and an 8, please.
Minji, Panos, Ian.
I'm gonna agree with Adam.
2 versus 2, right? So Panos and Ian, who are you supporting? Or you can build a new team if you want.
I think I agree with Adam.
You agree with Adam, okay? And finally, yep. Correct. So you are right, guys. So Daniel and Ebrima, it doesn't really make sense to think that the first line will be number 8. Because once we call the function convert to capitals, the function will be executed top to bottom. Yeah. So the first line will be 3. We don't have any breakpoints, so I'll ignore it. Then it will be 4. Then it will be 5. So we'll stop here. Then line number 6. You see, you are right. You are all right actually. So you all find out that it will stop 3 times because we got 3 fruits. And eventually, once the loop is over, we will just return the result. So if we run it, 5, 6 once, 6 twice, 6 twice, 8. What is 8? What is 8? Here you go, at the bottom. and that's it. Okay? 5, 6, 6, 6, 8. That's the way it works. So that's a simplistic way to transform an array into another array. Okay? So that's for each. With for each, we simply iterate over an array of elements from the beginning to the end. That's it. What do we do here? That's up to you. So for each doesn't do anything in particular. Find does something in particular. Filter does something in particular. But for each, just iterate from the beginning to the end of the array. If we got 3 elements, iterate 3 times. If we got 6 elements, iterate 6 times. Something I often see from junior developers is people writing return. That doesn't make sense. You cannot type, that doesn't make sense. For each doesn't play with return statement or return here. That doesn't make sense. That's completely stupid. For each doesn't return anything. You cannot use the return statement at all. It's undefined all the time. Yeah? So don't use it.
So you always have to store like the things you get from forEach like to another array.
No, it depends what you want to do, right? So for instance, can we use for each to identify whether our array has an apple? Can we use for each to imitate the behavior of find? Yes.
What was the question?
I asked like, so like when we use forEach, do we always have to like make like an empty array?
No. The answer is clearly not. Let me present you a different problem. So imagine that instead of converting to capitals, my exercise is, do I have an apple? Yeah, this is what we've done before, right? But instead of using find, which will be super easy, let me solve the problem using for each. So I will create a variable called do I have an apple equals false. So then for each, I can do if fruit equal apple, then what? True. And finally, return do I have an apple. Will this work?
Yeah.
So if that means yes, you mean Minji, that will return what? True. Correct.
It's more like some method to iterate.
It's a method to iterate, that's it. Yeah, that's it. What do you do then? That's up to you, right? If you want to find a fruit, you'll do an if. If you want to, I don't know. That's up to you guys. Yeah? So for each, simply iterates an array. And then what do you do is completely up to you. So if I select something wrong, like a pineapple, that should return what? False, correct. Yeah? Easy peasy. So that's the way for each works. For each is not extremely popular these days compared to map. We'll see map in a minute. So map essentially is the smart brother of for each. The reason is, let me go back to the previous example where I had to convert to capitals, because I think indeed in that particular example you can quickly see the benefit of using map. So back to the previous example, guys, where I essentially fill a basket of fruits. You remember fruit.to uppercase, I did something like that, yeah? Apple, orange, and banana. So I'm now going to rebuild the same function using map, and you will appreciate how simpler everything gets when dealing with that type of issues. I'm going to leave that there. Let me comment it out for reference purposes. And I'm going to, how many lines of code I had to write here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to solve the same problem with one line using map. Look, return fruits.map, fruit.to uppercase. Boom, solved. That line of code is doing literally the same thing as these 5 lines of code. That's the reason why map is so cool and so sexy today.
Map returns an array.
Correct. That's the first difference. So that's a classic job interview question. What's the difference between map and forEach? Both methods iterate over an array of elements. Yeah. So both methods iterate. However, key differences. First of all, forEach doesn't return anything. That's the first thing. However, map always returns something. Correct. Map returns, always return an array of the same size as the array you are iterating. So if fruit has 3 elements, fruits of map will return another array of 3 elements. What's the content on each individual element? That's up to you. Then here, you specify, you transform each individual element of the array. Yeah?
Depending on what you use there, you could change how many items
Never.
an array will have.
No. Map doesn't change the size of the list.
Never.
Map takes an array of 24 elements, it goes one after the other, and it returns a new array of 24 elements. You can transform each element individually. So for instance, how can we transform the array of fruits? We can convert to uppercase. We can, for instance, we can add an exclamation mark. So can we do, guys? Yeah. So that will return an array of 3 elements. Apple, 3 exclamation marks. Orange, 3 exclamation marks. There you go. Banana, 3 exclamation marks. Yeah? It goes without saying, I'm using the shorter version, the shortcut. You remember, I told you before, that the longer version is that. Yeah? That's the same as find and filter. That's the longer version. For each fruit, you return a different value. That's the input, or apple. Your output is apple with exclamation marks. Then your input is orange. Your output is orange with exclamation marks, and so on. So that's exactly the same. You can use the long version, or remember the short version. Remove the curly braces, remove the semicolon, remove the return statement, and then move everything to one line. Questions?
Let's say I wanted to get an array with just the index values of each fruit. What would be the syntax? Would it be fruit and then the arrow and then fruit brackets index?
Well, wait a minute. You have an array of fruits. Tell me, what do you want to return?
I want an array with 0, 1, 2.
Fantastic. It's a really good question. So if you want to return an array of 0, 1, 2, something you can do is, as we briefly talked about before, remember, with find, filter, map, forEach, with every single method, not every single method, but with the majority of the methods, you can pass a second argument, which is the index. So now, can anybody tell me what should I return to get an array of 0, 1, and 2? That's it. Look. 0, 1, and 2. And what if I want to return an array of 1, 2, 3? Correct. Yeah? What happens if I return hello? What will that algorithm return? Correct. Hello 3 times. Yeah? That's the important key. Map receives an array of elements and it returns another array with the same size. And on each element, you do whatever you want.
How many arguments can pass, like fruit index and
Others. I don't want to make it more complicated, but there is a third argument, which is the array. So array is the same as fruits, yeah, but you can ignore that because it's going to make everything more complicated. You will find out when talking about advanced training on React, when using reduce, sometimes having access to that third secret argument could be convenient. But for now, actually no. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I mean, first of all, is there any questions?
Can index is it always written the word index, or can you use I?
Can you use Adam?
Or can you use like I?
Well, if I can use Adam, probably you can use I, right? Absolutely.
Oh, so it's always the second.
It's always the second.
So there's an order.
That's correct. Yeah, you can take whatever you want here.
So the first one is current value.
Doesn't matter. The first argument is always the element. Yeah? So you can call it Brexit. It doesn't matter, yeah? The first argument is always the element, the second argument is always the index.
So then what if
What's the question again?
Like, what if you want to put the first argument?
The first argument?
Yeah, and then the third argument, which is an array, but you don't. What if I don't need?
No. The way JavaScript works, guys, is if because of whatever reason you want to access the third argument, you have to specify the second. Yeah?
First.
And of course on the first. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah? You cannot skip arguments.
Even if you don't want to use them.
Even if you're not going to use it. And the best example was based on what Adam asked before. Look, I don't care about the fruit, yeah? I just want to return an array of indexes, 0, 1, and 2. However, I still have to pass the fruit. What happens if I remove the fruit, guys? What will that return? Correct, that will return the same array, which is a bit confusing. Yeah? So the way this works is the first argument, however you call it, is the element. The second argument, however you call it, is the index. Any question?
Then, well, obviously, you kind of mentioned about array earlier, and you said we shouldn't really think about it now. But I guess the third element is that can you pass? Is there anything else after that?
Is there anything, when talking about map, as far as I know, there is nothing else beyond the third argument. Yeah? Any question, guys? All right, so then, because we got some minutes, I have an exercise for you. So I want you to build an algorithm. Please read the instructions. So give me the list of fruits that start with a, no, that was too complicated. List of fruits with a length of at least 6 characters converted to capitals. In other words, what I want is orange and banana. Who wants to try? 3 points. Prima, go for it.
Okay, so
Fruits, dot filter.
parentheses,
Yep. Yep.
arrow,
Yep.
then fruit dot m greater than
Greater than.
equal
Yep.
6,
Yep.
and then after that dot map. So then you put fruit, then you put here, fruit dot capital to uppercase.
With that, what do you think, guys? So first of all, the line is very long, yeah? So whenever you do something like that, I strongly recommend you, every time you do filter, map, find, whatever, always look at how readable the code is. Fruits, first of all, you filter, and then you map. Would that work? Prima, what do you miss?
You have to
Return
return that.
what? That?
No.
Return that?
Return the fruits.
Here? What do you think, guys? How does it sound? Is it music for your eyes? Anybody disagree with Prima? Anybody agree with the Brima?
I do agree with you.
Do you agree with the Brima?
Looks all right to me.
Adam, Minji.
Perfect.
All right, let's prove that. Brilliant. Well done, Brima. You got how many points I told you?
Fine.
I didn't say 5. This is recorded. I can watch myself and see what I said. Cool. And now, okay, that's brilliant. Yeah, you see how good that looks like. Yeah. So first of all, we filter. So we are essentially just keeping the fruits with a given length, and then once we got that subset, we convert them to capitals. And now, question for you: would it work on the other way around? Can we do map before filter?
Yeah,
Can't do, but I think in this case it wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work. Okay. Cool. Let's try that. So according to Panos, that wouldn't work. Why not?
Well, I guess it would work. You map basic, yes, it would work. Because you create again the same array, uppercase, and
It will work. However, if you see that in a job interview, what should we do first? Filtering or mapping? And
I
why?
think filtering, because at the end of the day, you kind of like returning the same array is the same array. I'm not sure how the exact they're gone.
I believe that for speed, first you're going to filter it because that's going to shorten your array. Then you only have to map over a shorter array.
That's fantastic. That's exactly the point. It's about performance, guys. Imagine, let me give you an example, that you are Facebook and you got 500 million customers, whatever. And you, because of whatever reason, you want to iterate over each customer because you realize that 0.01% of your customers have something wrong. So you want to find them, filter them, and then when you find them, you need to change something on the database. Yeah. So yeah, obviously, it's much more performant to first of all get the subset with the data you want to play with, and then run the heavy operations just on the subset of relevant elements. Yeah. So even though you are right, map and filter they both work. It's more efficient to first of all filter your data and then to run whatever the operation about is. Any questions? What if I now want to reverse the results? I don't want to return orange and banana. I want to return banana and orange. And shift? That doesn't make sense to me.
Dot reverse.
Where?
And I think you can put it, yeah, just to the left of that bracket that you're on at the moment.
To the left of the bracket here?
No, sorry, where you had it before is correct.
Here?
Yeah. I think that's it there.
And that?
And then parentheses.
Yeah, remember guys, one method per line. Yeah, I like that. That's correct. Look, so now instead of orange and banana, that will return banana and orange. Reverse flips the array. Yeah? And what if I don't want to return an array? I want to return a string with banana, comma, orange. Where?
after reverse, like the next line.
After reverse, the next line.
Top join and then parentheses and then this.
Quotes?
And then comma. Space.
That's correct. Join is another method working with arrays to join or to transform an array into a string, and the elements of the array will be joined. The glue will be whatever you pass here. So you see, banana and orange. If I pass something weird, then we'll get banana, lots of hashes, and orange. That's the way you can play with it. And
It's like a concatenation.
like a concatenation, exactly. So you see? how you appreciate the power of arrays in JavaScript, because you can have a bunch of steps. The output of one step is the input of the next step. And just remember to keep one action per line, because that will massively simplify the process of dealing with the different elements. Yeah? So the main point of the workshop was actually using map. Yeah, but I hope you appreciate that you can use map in combination with any other method. Yeah. In your daily basis, you will be using map a lot. Talking about conflicts, you will use map to display the list of movies on task number 12, something like that. Yeah, it's the same process. Yeah. When talking about React, you will have an array of TV shows. You will have, like, I don't know, title, and then Sharktopus, and then eventually title equals whatever, and then eventually what you want is to have a list of divs. It's the same process. We will be transforming an array of objects into an array of divs. It's the same principle if you think about it. That's why map works so well with React, because map transforms an array of something with n elements with an array of something else with the same number of elements. Anything else, guys? No?
Are these techniques used for like database migration and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely, a lot. And actually, at Coldigi now we're doing a database migration, and we need to do these things. So, not sure if you noticed. Yeah, correct, on the platform. The reason is, at the moment, every time you refresh the page, we give you the rank. And to get the rank, we need to perform thousands of calculations that are affecting the performance. We're going to change the approach, and that means that we need to get all the arrays with your scores, get them, filter them, save them somewhere, but this is the same process. Iterating over a list of arrays, and for each player, run some operations to optimize the database. So it's the same process. Anything else? No. Thank you, guys.